Right now, at this very moment, there's something happening inside your mind that will determine everything about your future. It's not your background or current circumstances, but a constant stream of thoughts. Most people treat these thoughts as background noise, unaware that they are literally sculpting your reality. Your thoughts have you. They're actively programming your subconscious mind, shaping your beliefs about yourself and the world. This is not just motivation, it's neuroscience. Every thought you think is strengthening neural pathways in your brain. The truth is, you are literally becoming what you think. Most people are unconsciously programming themselves for limitation and mediocrity, but you're about to discover a powerful truth. When you change your thoughts, you change your life. You're about to learn how to become the architect of your own transformation. Chapter 1: The Hidden Architecture. Of your reality. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract success effortlessly, while others struggle despite working twice as hard? The answer isn't luck or talent. It's the hidden architecture of thought that operates beneath the surface of consciousness. This invisible force shapes what you notice and what you believe is possible. It's not just your conscious thoughts, but also the automatic mental programs running in the background. Your subconscious mind acts like a sophisticated screening system, filtering out most information and highlighting what aligns with your existing beliefs. For example, if your mind is programmed with thoughts of scarcity, it will show you more problems and limitations, while a mind programmed with abundance will highlight opportunities. This is why two people can have completely different realities on the same street. Your thoughts are the invisible architects of your reality. You're either taking conscious control of this process or letting it happen by default. The good news is your brain isn't fixed. It's constantly rewiring itself based on your thoughts, a process called neuroplasticity. Chapter 2: The Programming You Never Chose. Right now, programs are running in your mind that you never consciously installed. These are determining what you believe is possible for your life. They were installed by your environment and experiences long before you had the critical thinking skills to evaluate them. Most people live their entire lives controlled by these inherited programs, never realizing they have the power to rewrite them. Your mind began absorbing information from the moment you were born, soaking up the beliefs and limitations of those around you. If you were told money doesn't grow on trees or you're not smart enough, these became fundamental truths in your young mind. The most insidious part is that these inherited programs feel like your own thoughts because you've been thinking them for so long. This is why positive thinking alone often fails. It's like running new software on a corrupted operating system. Real transformation requires identifying and rewriting these inherited programs. The beautiful truth is that every single program in your mind can be rewritten. You are not your programming. You are the consciousness that can change it. Chapter 3: The Science of Mental Transformation. For decades, scientists believed the human brain was fixed after a certain age, but then they discovered neuroplasticity, that the brain is constantly rewiring itself based on your thoughts, experiences, and behaviors. Your brain is like a garden, constantly growing and adapting based on what you plant. Every thought is a seed. This means transformation isn't just possible, it's inevitable. The question is, will it change in the direction you want or by default? Every thought you think creates a neural pathway. The more you think a thought, the stronger and easier that pathway becomes, like creating a clear trail in a field. The key to working with your brain is understanding 3 fundamental principles of neuroplasticity: repetition, emotional intensity, and focused attention. When you combine these 3, you create the perfect conditions for rapid neural rewiring. You can literally think your way into a new identity. When you consistently think thoughts that align with who you want to become, your brain wires itself to support that identity. Chapter 4: The Identity Creation Process. Your identity isn't something you discover, it's something you actively create through the thoughts you choose to think. Right now you have a story about who you are. Confident or insecure, successful or struggling, and these labels feel true because you've reinforced them through repetition. But these identity labels are not facts. They're mental habits that can be changed. You can think yourself into a new identity by consistently choosing thoughts that align with who you want to become. This process is called identity-based thinking. Instead of thinking, "I want to be confident," you think, "I am confident," and ask what a confident person would do. This subtle shift trains your brain to operate from that new perspective. At first it will feel unnatural, but with consistent practice, the new identity becomes stronger until it feels as natural as the old one. The most successful people don't wait for success to think like a successful person. They think like one first, and success becomes the natural result. Chapter 5. Breaking Free from Mental Prisons. An invisible prison holds more people captive than any physical jail ever could. This prison is built entirely from thoughts, and its prisoners mistake the walls for the boundaries of reality. Every limiting belief you hold, every fear that stops you, is a bar in this prison. These mental barriers feel real because you've lived with them for so long. The shocking truth is that most of these limitations exist only in your mind. From early childhood, you absorbed thousands of messages that created what psychologists call limiting beliefs. These beliefs operate like invisible barriers, stopping you from even considering certain possibilities. But because they're just thoughts, they can be changed. The first step is to recognize these beliefs by paying attention to your internal dialogue. The next is to challenge them by asking if they're based on facts or on fear. The final step is replacement. You must replace a limiting belief with an empowering one that serves your growth. When you realize you're not trapped by your circumstances, but by your thoughts about them, you gain the key to your own freedom. Chapter 6. The Power of Thought Selection. Every single moment of your life, you're faced with a choice. Which thoughts will you accept and which will you reject? Most people never realize they have this power. They treat their thoughts like weather that happens to them, but you have far more power over your thoughts than you realize. Learning to exercise this power is the key to transforming your life. Your mind generates thousands of thoughts, both empowering and limiting, and the difference between those who transform and those who stay stuck is their ability to consciously select which thoughts to feed. Think of your mind as a garden with both flowers and weeds. A skilled gardener pulls out the weeds and nurtures the flowers. The first step is awareness, the ability to observe your thoughts objectively. When you catch a thought that doesn't serve you, you don't fight it. You simply acknowledge it, and then consciously redirect your attention to a better thought. This process, called metacognition, is like changing the channel on a radio. Chapter 7. Rewiring Your Mental Operating System. Your mind operates like a sophisticated computer with a mental operating system installed early in life. This programming determines your default responses to challenges and your unconscious beliefs. For most people, this operating system is outdated, filled with software that no longer serves their current goals. The problem is, an outdated operating system will sabotage your efforts when you try to exceed its programmed parameters. To upgrade it, you must identify the core automatic programs that are currently running. These reveal themselves through your consistent thoughts and behaviors. Once you identify them, you can begin the process of conscious reprogramming. This involves deliberately installing new mental software through repetition and emotional engagement. Mental rehearsal, where you vividly imagine yourself behaving in new ways, is one of the most powerful tools for this. The new programming will feel unnatural at first, but with consistent practice, it will reach a tipping point where it becomes effortless and natural. You are not fixing something that's broken. You're upgrading to a more advanced version of yourself. Chapter 8. The Art of Mental Conditioning. Elite athletes understand that peak performance isn't just physical. It's about mental conditioning, the systematic practice of training your mind. This same principle applies to every area of life. Mental conditioning makes your mind more resilient, focused, and effective. The foundation of this practice is clarity of intention. You must be absolutely clear about what mental qualities you want to develop. Once you have that clarity, you create specific mental exercises to strengthen those qualities, such as confidence-building visualizations or concentration exercises. The key is to be consistent, progressive, and intentional, just like physical training. Visualization is a powerful tool because it is systematic mental rehearsal that programs your subconscious mind for success. You create detailed mental movies of yourself performing at your best. This practice also involves developing emotional regulation, the ability to maintain optimal emotional states regardless of external circumstances. You can literally condition yourself to feel excited about challenges instead of anxious. Excited about challenges instead of anxious. Chapter 9. Breaking the Cycle of Automatic Thinking. Right now, there's a constant stream of automatic thoughts flowing through your consciousness. Most people never realize they have the power to break this cycle. Automatic thinking is a mental shortcut that helps you navigate familiar situations without conscious effort. But when these patterns are negative, they become mental prisons that keep you stuck. The cycle works like this. A situation triggers an automatic thought, which generates an emotion, which drives a behavior, which reinforces the original thought. Breaking free begins with mindful awareness, the ability to observe your thoughts without being carried away by them. This is about creating space between you and your thoughts, so you can observe them objectively. Once you can notice these automatic thoughts, you can question them by asking, is this thought actually true? This brief pause is all you need to choose a different thought, which will generate a different emotion and lead to a different behavior. The most effective way to break these patterns is to replace them with consciously chosen, empowering thoughts. Chapter 10. The compound effect of conscious thinking. Most people underestimate the power of a single thought, but every thought you think has a compound effect. It doesn't just influence the present moment, it shapes your future by rewiring your brain and creating momentum. The compound effect of thinking works the same way as money. A small investment today becomes a large fortune later because each return generates more returns. Your thoughts work exactly the same way. Each thought strengthens a neural pathway, influences emotions, and shapes your actions. These effects compound over time, creating massive changes from seemingly small beginnings. The key insight is that the compound effect makes small, consistent improvements in your thinking incredibly powerful over time. You don't need to completely transform your thinking overnight. You just need to make small, consistent improvements, and the compound effect will do the rest. When you become conscious of this process, you gain the power to deliberately steer the compound effect in your favor. Chapter 11. The Reality Creation Protocol. There's a systematic process for transforming thoughts into tangible reality, and it's called the Reality Creation Protocol. It operates on the principle that your external world will always mirror your internal world. Your thoughts create your beliefs, which shape your emotions, which drive your actions, and those actions produce your results. This is a 5-phase protocol. Mental design. Create a clear, detailed mental blueprint of the reality you want to experience, using vivid, emotionally charged mental imagery. Neural installation. Program your brain by repeatedly visualizing your desired reality with intense emotion, especially in the morning and at night. Identity alignment. Act from your desired identity now, not later. Identify the habits of your future self and embody them immediately. Reality bridging. Take physical actions that bridge the gap between your current reality and your desired reality. Momentum. Acceleration. As you consistently apply the first 4 phases, you'll see evidence that your reality is shifting, creating positive momentum that accelerates the entire process. The key is to understand that this is a way of living, not a one-time process. Chapter 12. Mastering the Inner Game. Success in any area of life is determined more by what happens inside your mind than by external circumstances. Mastering the inner game means developing complete command over your internal state, so you can maintain the thoughts and emotions that produce excellence. The inner game operates on the principle that your external performance is always limited by your internal capacity. Most people focus on the outer game, skills and knowledge, but these are limited by inner game factors like confidence and resilience. The foundation of inner game mastery is emotional regulation, the ability to consciously choose your emotional state instead of being controlled by it. Emotions are information, not commands. Another pillar is mental toughness, the ability to maintain effective functioning under pressure. This is developed through progressive exposure to challenging situations. The inner game also requires unwavering focus, which is a superpower in our distracted world. You can develop an internal coach, a voice in your head that supports you instead of criticizing you. Chapter 13. The Transformation Accelerator. There's a point where the rate of change can be dramatically accelerated. Most people miss this point because they're focused on changing their behavior instead of upgrading their internal system. The Transformation Accelerator operates on the principle of leverage, finding points where small changes in your internal system create massive changes in your external results. One component is state-dependent learning, meaning you learn and change fastest when you're in an optimal state, like confidence and excitement. You should work on transformation when you're already feeling good. Another component is pattern stacking, which combines identity work, visualization, and behavioral changes all at once. This reinforces each other and accelerates the process. The third component is emotional amplification, using peak emotional states like gratitude and excitement to supercharge the rewiring process. When you vividly experience your future reality, you create a magnetic pull toward it that makes transformation feel effortless. The key is to understand that transformation isn't about fixing what's wrong with you. It's about optimizing what's already working. Chapter 14. Living from your future self. The most powerful technique you can master is learning to live from the perspective of your future self. This isn't about pretending. It's about accessing the wisdom and natural patterns of your evolved self and operating from that space right now. Most people live from their past selves, recreating their history rather than creating something new. Living from your future self means asking, how would the person I'm evolving into handle this situation? And then acting from that wisdom. Your future self is the natural evolution of your current potential. They have already solved the problems you're facing now and can offer guidance from that perspective. When you access this future perspective, you become more patient with your current discomfort and understand that it's evidence that you're growing. You can use your future self's perspective for decision-making by asking what they would do, which often reveals choices that serve your long-term growth over short-term comfort. This transforms your relationship with setbacks, as your future self knows they are necessary for your evolution. Chapter 15. Then you starting now. This is the moment everything changes. The old you, limited by inherited programming and trapped in cycles of limitation, can end in this moment. The new you can begin right here. You now understand the most powerful truth of human existence. You become what you think. Your thoughts are not random. They are the architects of your reality. The new you understands that transformation begins the moment you decide to think differently and embody a different identity. You no longer accept limiting thoughts as truth. You operate from identity rather than trying to achieve identity. You know that every thought, visualization, and new behavior is literally rewiring your brain. The new you lives with unshakable confidence because you know you have the power to consciously create any reality you can envision. You are not defined by your past. You are defined by your conscious choices now. The new you understands that transformation is not a destination but a way of living. The question is simple. Will you be the new you starting right now? You have the tools, the knowledge, and the power. All that's left is the decision.